That looked tasty for him for a while. All right, speaking of tasty, the playoff debut of Victor Wembanyama. We think this will be the first of many.
Kendrick Perkins just said something on SportsCenter that I have been arguing for months. Victor Wembanyama is the most complete player in the NBA right now. Not in 2 years. Not in 5 years. Right now. And after watching Wemby put up 35 points, grab rebounds, block shots, hit threes, and lead the Spurs to a 111-98 victory over the Blazers in his playoff debut, I am fully convinced. Perk said it perfectly. He said, "The 35 points, that's cool, but it's the leadership for me. It's the dominance. It's his approach. It's more to this than just this Game 1 performance. This was a statement to the rest of the league." And he is absolutely right. Let me break this down for you because nobody else will. The first 2 minutes of this video show the highlights of Wembanyama's playoff debut. And it is a highlight reel that no other player in the history of the league could put together. He starts with a coast-to-coast drive. He spins. He finishes. The commentator said, "You got the two greats in there, David Robinson and Tim Duncan, checking it out, and neither one of them could do that." And that is the truth. Duncan could not handle the ball like that. Robinson could not shoot threes like that. Wembanyama is not just a big man. He is a guard in a center's body. He is a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, and a center all rolled into one 7'4" frame. Perk talked about the growth of Wembanyama this season. He said, he found that balance. That BA. Lance of being a big man with guard skills. At first, he was battling if he wanted to be a guard and then take it down low. No, I'm going to dominate first down low offensively and then I'm going to show you I got range on this three-point shot. And that is exactly what we saw in Game 1. Wembanyama was aggressive in the paint. He got to the free throw line. He muscled his way to the basket. And then, when the Blazers dared him to shoot, he stepped out and hit threes. He had 21 points in the first half. That is the most in a player's first career playoff game in a half in the play-by-play era, which goes back to 1997 and 1998. He passed Tim Duncan on that list. He passed every Spur who came before him. And he did it in 32 minutes. The Spurs were up so big in the second half that Wembanyama sat on the bench for large chunks of the third and fourth quarters. The commentators said, imagine if he wanted to go for more than that, he could have very easily put up 40 or 45. And they are right. Wembanyama was so dominant that he did not need to play the fourth quarter. The game was already over. And that is the scariest part. Wembanyama is so good that he can put up 35 points in his playoff debut and make it look effortless. He can make the game look easy. And when a player makes the game look easy, it means he is operating on a level that his opponents cannot reach. Perk also talked about the leadership of Wembanyama. He said it is not just the points. It is the way he carries himself. It is the way he approaches the game. It is the way he handles the pressure. And I think that is the most underrated part of his game. Wembanyama is 21 years old. This is his first playoff appearance. And he looked like a 10-year veteran out there. He did not force shots. He did not try to do too much. He let the game come to him. He trusted his teammates. He played within the flow of the offense. And when the Spurs needed a bucket, he went and got it. That is maturity. That is poise. That is leadership. And it is something that cannot be taught. The Spurs as a team also impressed. They came into the game with a business-like mentality. The entire team showed up pre-game in black suits. Kelly Olynyk initiated the idea, saying that the Spurs mean business. And they backed it up on the court. Keona Martin, one of the analysts, pointed out that the Spurs were third in defensive rating this season. They had the best record since the All-Star break. And the moment did not seem too big for them. They just did what they do, which is play great defense and run through their best three guys. Wembanyama had 35. De'Aaron Fox had a great game. Stephen Castle, who could also end up making all defense along with Wembanyama, was fantastic. The Spurs shot 45% from three. The Blazers shot 26%. That is a massive gap. And it is a gap that is not going to close in this series. Perk also talked about the disparity in three-point shooting, and he is right. The Spurs have shooters. The Blazers very much do not. Denny Avdija had a great game, and then pretty much nobody else did. Only two players in double figures for the Blazers, just Denny and Scoot Henderson. That is a dangerous zone for the Blazers. They need more from Drew Holiday. They need Donovan Clingan to hit some outside shots to pull Wembanyama away from the basket. But Clingan was a no-show. The commentators said that if the Blazers want to steal a game, they really need Clingan to hit some of those outside shots in order to pull Wembanyama away from the basket, because that becomes a no-fly zone. Nobody wants to go into the paint when Victor Wembanyama is down there. And that is the problem for the Blazers, and for every team that faces the Spurs. Wembanyama is the best defensive player in the league. He is going to win Defensive Player of the Year tomorrow. And when he is parked in the paint, the entire opposing offense has to adjust. They cannot drive. They cannot get to the rim. They are forced to shoot jump shots. And if those jump shots are not falling, the game is over. The Blazers found that out in Game 1. And they are going to find it out again in Game 2, and Game 3, and Game 4. Because the Spurs are not just beating the Blazers. They are exposing them. And Wembanyama is the reason why. Perk also mentioned that he picked the San Antonio Spurs to win it all this year. And while that sounds crazy on the surface, after watching Game 1, I am starting to think it might no. Be that crazy. The Spurs have the best defense in the Western Conference. They have 3 guys who can score 20-plus points on any given night. They have depth. They have shooting. They have coaching. And they have the most unique player in the history of the sport. Wembanyama is a matchup nightmare for every team in the league. There is no one who can guard him one-on-one. There is no one who can block his shot. There is no one who can keep him off the glass. And on defense, there is no one who can score over him, around him, or through him. He is a one-man wrecking crew. And when you add in Fox, Castle, Harper, and the rest of the Spurs supporting cast, you have a team that is built to make a deep playoff run. The Western Conference is wide open this year. The Thunder are young. Ma versus Holmgren. The old guard versus the new guard. And I think the Spurs are going to win. I think they are going to the Western Conference Finals. I think they have a legitimate chance to make the NBA Finals. And I think Victor Wembanyama is going to win Finals MVP. And then, next year, when people talk about the best player in the league, they are not going to say Jokic. They are not going to say Shai. They are not going to say Giannis. They are going to say Victor Wembanyama. Because he is the most complete player in the NBA. And Kendrick Perkins was right to say it. Subscribe to the channel if you want real NBA analysis. Not the doubt. Not the he is too young narratives. Just the truth about the most unique player we have ever seen and the team that is going to shock the world. And comment below. Can the Spurs make the finals? And is Wembanyama already the most complete player in the league? I read every single comment. Now let me know your thoughts and get